Hi, this is Aaron at thinkbotlabs.com and welcome back to our fourth tutorial. In our last video, we uploaded our HTML template files, created a master page, and converted those HTML files to ASP.NET pages. Today, we'll be setting up the email portion of our Contact Us page. Let's go have a look at that. In our contact page, we have a name, email address, subject, and message fields, along with a send message button that we need to wire up for email. First thing that we need to do, we need to have an email account that we can use as a SMTP sender. So go back into your one-on-one control panel, click email on the left, and then create a new email address. We're going to do webmaster at phase4dev.com. Go ahead and create that. Say set up mailbox. Write a first name and set that password. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and forward my emails so I don't have to check this mailbox. I'm going to forward it to another email address that I own so I can check it. Okay. Click Save. Okay, once that's created, let's go back into Visual Studios and let's go into the web config. And this is where we need to set up SMTP. So under configuration, we need another call to system.net mail settings SMTP delivery method. I'm going to do over the network from webmaster at phase4dev.com, which is the account that we just created. When we set up the network, set the default credentials to false, set the host, and the host for one-on-one is smtp.1on1.com. I'm going to do it over port 25, which is standard SMTP protocol. We're going to set SSL to false. And this is just a contact page. We're not sending anything sensitive. You can set it to enable SSL and then change the port to a secure port. And that'll be in the documentation on one-on-one. Alright, and then we need to set up our username and password. Username. And our password. Okay, and then go ahead and save that off. Alright, and let's go to our contact page. Yep, contact us. And let's find the part where we have all of our name, email address, subject, and message. So right here, we can see that we have a contact form. It was initially set up for PHP, which we won't be using, and we can't have nested forms. So first, let's remove the form. In this form, we have 3 validations here at the bottom. Let's go ahead and remove that. We can set up validation later. Okay, so right here is where it starts. Sender name, sender email, and subject. Let's convert those to. Let's convert these to ASP. Text box. ID is name. Set the placeholder. have to run at server. Okay, and next for the email, text box ID equals email. Actually, I'm going to set it to sender email just like it is existing. Set the placeholder. Placeholder is the text that's on within the text box that appears before you type in it. We'll look at that. These behind the scenes, these read-only fields, subject, email addresses, these are your placeholders. You can set it to whatever you'd like. Email address, run at server. Excuse me. And then the subject, ASP, text box, ID, subject, placeholder is subject, run at server. And what this run at server means is that it's going to run on the server side. It's not in JavaScript or client facing. We're going to do it all on the back end. Okay, those fields are done. And we have the message and the send message, or the text area for the message and a button to send the message left. So let's add another text box. Text box ID of message. Placeholder is message. Run at server. We also want to set the text box type or text box mode to be multi-line. That way the message can be long. It doesn't have to be in a single line. And then we need to set the max length to 100 characters. Okay, should be good for that one. And the last one is the button. So ASP button ID send message. Text of the button we're going to set to send message. Say run at server. I'm going to delete that. Alright, and then on the button we need an on-click event. So on-click, so when somebody clicks that button, we're going to create a new event. And that event's going to be called sendMessage_click. So we can view that by right-clicking on it, anywhere on the screen actually, and say View Code. You can see that that handler was created for us, sendMessage_click. Alright, so on the default ASPX CS page, make sure you have using system.net.mail. This is going to enable us to create the email function. That email function is going to take 4 pieces. We're going to create the mail message. We're going to set the addresses. We're going to set the contents of the message. And then we are going to send the message. So, in the create the mail message, we'll have mail message, which is part of the system.net.mail. Create an object. Okay. And we need to set the addresses. I'm going to call that mail message object from new mail address, sender email. This is the person that's sending the message to us. And then the to. So mail message to dot add okay. And then we need to set the content. Content of the message is going to be mail message dot subject equals message say via face for dev from, and let's get the sender, get their name. I'll look at that real quick. I just have name. Okay. Let's go ahead and change this to sender. Save that piece off. Okay. So, sender name dot text to string. Then we're going to say that the body of the mail message is HTML, so we can write rich HTML inside of the body. I'll set that to true. And then let's set up the body equals the first line. Let's write the sender email dot text to string. And let's add a couple of breaks in here. And this is just showing you how to pass all the variables into your mail message. You can compose it however you'd like. Let's say the subject text to string. Let's add a couple more breaks. Then let's go ahead and provide the message. Message.text to string. And that should be good. Let's go ahead and close that off. The end of the body and the end of the HTML. Alright, that looks good. Alright, now let's go ahead and send the message. Using our SMTP client, create an object from it. On that object, we're going to say that we're not going to enable SSL. And then we're going to send our mail object, mail message. Alright, so that's a pretty short function on how to create a form and then send an email based on the variables in that form. One thing I like to do after somebody clicking on the send button is go ahead and redirect them to a thank you page. I created one a few minutes ago. It's just another derived page from our master page that says thank you. So let's set up a redirect. Response.redirect, and it's going to go to HTTP phase4dev.com/thank-u.aspx. Let's make sure we got it formatted good. Control A, K, F. Go ahead and save that. Let's look back at our page here and format it. Control A, K, F. Yeah, just a little bit. Alright, let's go check it out and see how it looks. So go ahead and save everything you're working on. Go back to your website. Refresh the page. Alright, we still have name, email address, subject, and mail message. And do some styling on this to set the width just a little bit. But let's go ahead and test it out first. So we're going to say our name is Bill. Email address is bill@thatplace.net. And the subject is going to be Bill's test. Okay? And the message is, hello, love your site. Okay? Now, once we send the message, we should be redirected to our thank you page and receive an email. So let's have a check. Okay? So here is our thank you page. Thank you for shooting us a line. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Let's go check our email and see if that showed up. Okay, I have an email from Bill. Message via phase4dev from Bill. Looks like we need a space right there. And inside of it, we have the email, subject, and the message. Success. Let's go back to Visual Studios. Back in the default. Let's add a space right after the from, just to give a little aesthetic to it. Let's set the width on the message to kind of help it out a little bit. So our width, we're going to set it at 300 pixels. And let's go ahead and set the height at 200 pixels. We'll play with that and see how that looks. Go back to the site. Contact us. Yeah, much better. Let's go ahead and stretch this out all the way over here. Let's go back to Visual Studios. Change the width to 700 pixels. Sounds pretty good. Refresh the page. Make sure it's not cached. Let's go to Home. Contact us. Perfect. Name, email address, subject, message, and our submit button. Okay, now let's go back and set up those field validations. That way somebody has to enter some text in these boxes. Because right now if we click send, it'll probably error out on us because there's no information in there. Okay, so let's start off with the sender name, and we'll go right below it. Let's give ourselves a space between all of these. So from here, let's create an ASP required field validator. ID is just going to be sender validator. And we're not going to be calling that validation in the code behind, so you can, it's kind of arbitrary, but it has to be filled out. Say run at server. And say the control to validate is actually going to be our sender name. Say this control, we're going to control this right here. That's what we're going to validate. Then we're going to say the error message His name is required. And give it a little asterisk right beside it. So, and this asterisk will go right beside this text box. So, let's go ahead and create another one for the email address. ASP, required field validator, ID, email, val, run at, server, control to validate is going to be the sender email. And again, the error message is email address required. Okay, and let's go to the subject. Same thing, ASP, required field validator, ID is subject val, say run at, server, control to validate is going to be our subject. Error message is going to say subject, or email subject required. And we'll say subject. They already know what we're doing. Okay, and let's do the same for the message. This will be the last one. So ASP, required field validator, ID equals message val, run at, server, control to validate is going to be our message. We have our error message, message required. Okay, and then right below this, and right before the send message, let's do a validation summary. So ASP validation summary, and so this is going to be a spot of text messages that appear that sums up all of the error messages. Because the only thing that's going to happen beside the text box is the little asterisk. And we're going to go ahead and put all the text, these, in the validation summary. So the validation summary ID equals val sum, run at, server. And that's all we have to do on that. It'll automatically look on the entire page and see if there's any field validators on there. So let's go ahead and save that and have a look. So let's refresh the page. Again, let's try to send a message without putting anything in here. So click it. And you can see we have asterisks by everything, which is great. And then we have all of these items down here. This message required got pushed on the next line because of the width of this, which is fine. This is just for demonstration right now. So it's John at att.net. Subject is email test 2, and let's just message body is here. Okay, go ahead and send the message. We went to our thank you page. Let's check our email. We'll see that John has sent us an email. Message via phase 4 dev from John. We got the nice little space in there. We have captured his email address, his subject, and the message body. And that'll conclude us setting up the email portion of our contact page and this tutorial. If you have any questions, please comment below, and again, I'll fill out the description with all the links that we used today.